Okay, so for those familiar with the Specialized SL7 recall, and I've already done two sort of videos with a bit of information on that. So here's another update and of some of the things we've found. So we've had we've had one of the bikes come in, an SL7, and we've got the fork and the new plug, and I'll run through some of the little things that I've found in relation to this this solution, why it's probably less than ideal, and also what I saw when I scanned the fork. So let's have a look at some of the data. So the first thing to notice with this plug is because the frame is a small size, the plug has been cut the length. Now, one of the issues with that is it's not really smooth. It's been cut with a hacksaw, and then there's been a slight attempt with a bit of filing around the edge to sort of make that edge a bit smoother, but it's not that smooth. So ideally you'd want a nice sort of chamfer on that, a nice bevel, even better parabolic, and ideally you'd want that to be a knife edge, to have basically very little thickness. So you want it to taper down, so when the steerer flexes you don't have a hard edge which can then dig into the carbon. And in this case, that's what's happened. So I'll show you some of that in a sec. So here's a view from inside the steerer tube. So this is with a little bore scope sort of camera thing. It's not the highest resolution. I probably should get a better one now. It's quite a few years old. But what I'll show you is I'll mark with the pen where with this plug, the end of the plug, where that sits and where that's marked on the inside of the steerer tube. So we'll put it in yellow pen on the thing. You can see that sort of lighter coloured line around there, and then on this view also sort of around here. And yeah, so that's basically where the edge of this plug has cut into and basically damaged the fibre on the internal section of the steerer tube. Now the other thing about the fork is when I scanned it, I found some manufacturing voids / porosity in this area here. You can see it marked in Rowell's yellow pencil. Now visually you can also see that you can see the compaction flaw on the inside. When you look down into the bore of the fork, you can see some variations there. You can also see on the right hand picture this area here is the manufacturing flaw that I was talking about, which showed up in the scan as a void. So there's the compaction there is not great, and then hence there's a void in that area. So there's the mark. You can see it from two different views, and yeah, that's not really ideal. One of the concerns is that if we put the plug in position, basically on the end of the steerer, this hard sharp edge is just above this point where there are some flaws. So they weren't caused by the flaws, by the plug. They were manufacturing porosity caused during manufacture. Like that's what manufacturing flaws do. You can't put porosity or voids into a part after the resin is cured. So, you know, that's the thing. It's a manufacturing void as opposed to a delamination. And with the ultrasound, you can tell the difference between those two types of flaws. So anyway, you've got this hard point here, and then you've got an area of voids weakening the steerer right below it. So again, that's pretty much less than ideal. So in summary, what could be done differently or better? First of all, making steerers without any voids in them. That would probably improve the steerer a fair bit, really. With this solution, that's basically pressed in to the steerer, and so it's free to move within the steerer. And it may surprise people, but under braking, the steerer can flex a significant amount, particularly with a longer head tube. Basically, the further the separation between the bearings in the head tube, the more deflection you're going to have in that steerer. Now, if you have your compression plug with a sharp edge and it can move, then you're going to get some effectively some wear on those fibers, as we saw, cutting into the steerer from the inside. And so the only way you're going to identify that is to be pulling this plug out every now and again and having a good visual inspection with with an internal camera, or if you can eyeball it, you can see it. So without this piece being bonded in, it's not really doing that much. It is providing extra support. So the upper bearing retaining ring, which has had the problem, sits about here. So it is within within the black area there. So the problem is, though, if the steerer is delaminated and damaged and does shear in that area, the whole thing can still slide out. It's not, it's not really, because it's not bonded, it's not held in there in any, sort of reassuring way. So, the whole solution is, it's a quick solution for the bike shop to do. They can just basically, we'll just replace this plug, cut it to length, drop it in, and there's no problems. But in actual fact, as you've seen, there are some problems which make it less than ideal. So as I said, you'd ideally want this plug to be bonded in and have the gradient of stiffness on the edge, so it basically goes to a knife edge, so it can flex with the steerer, and by not moving, then it won't dig in and cut. So anyway, we'll see what other people have any experience with. If you've had this warranty fix and you want to pull it out and have a look inside your steerer and see if there's any damage, let us know in the comments. Okay, we'll see you next time. Bye.